Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence, and by Dow Automotive Systems, innovations for clean powertrain solutions.
This is Autoline Daily for February 11, 2011, and now the news. Yesterday we reported that Ford was suing Ferrari, and then Ferrari blinked. Talk about a quick end to this dispute. The Wall Street Journal reports the Italian automaker agreed to call its new Formula One race car by its full name, the Ferrari F-150 Italia, not the shortened version, F-150, which is what Ford objected to. The new name refers to Italy's sesquicentennial 150th anniversary that's being celebrated this year. But I cannot believe Ferrari's lawyers did not see this coming. Didn't they do a name search? And speaking of lawsuits, back in 1987, when General Motors was in the middle of a crippling strike, two UAW officials, Donnie Douglas and Jay Campbell, refused to settle the strike until GM hired Campbell's son and the son of another UAW official as highly paid skilled tradesmen, but neither one of them was qualified. It was a crippling strike that lasted for 87 days and lost GM a ton of money. Douglas and Campbell were later convicted of extortion, but appealed the verdict. Now the Detroit News reports they lost their appeal and must await sentencing. Interestingly, a source within the UAW tells me the practice of hiring family members of UAW officials who are not qualified to be skilled tradesmen continues today. Autoline Daily will be looking into this matter. Did you see last night's Autoline After Hours? Sandy Monroe, who owns a design and manufacturing consultancy, demonstrated a new type of aluminum, what they call Covetic aluminum. It has 5% carbon in it, which up to now would have been considered impossible to do. The sample that Sandy is showing stopped a .45 caliber bullet shot from 1 meter away. Again, something considered impossible with conventional aluminum, which the bullet would have gone through like butter. Covetic aluminum has great formability, which opens the door for a lot of automotive applications. The process to make this aluminum was invented in the United States, but the company that invented it is keeping its name secret for the time being. Check out the entire show on the John's Journal section of our website. We've got more sneak peeks of what this year's Geneva Motor Show is all about. First up, the all-new Kia Rio. Since it sold globally, it was designed to appeal to customers all around the world. The front end is similar to the new Optima, but was tweaked to give it its own look. The Rio comes in 3, 4, or 5-door models, depending on the market, and a total of 6 engines are offered, from a 1.1-liter diesel in Europe up to a 1.6-liter gasoline direct injection engine for North America. A new high-performance 1.2-liter turbo gasoline direct inject engine will also be available in Europe starting next year. Nissan's also giving us a preview of its EV sports car concept, the S-Flow, which will be unveiled in Geneva. It's a rear-drive 2-seater that uses the same technology as the Leaf. 2 motors independently drive the rear wheels, which are powered by lithium-ion battery packs that are located along the axes of the front and rear wheels. Nissan says this configuration allows the car to travel over 240 kilometers on a single charge. That's nearly 150 miles. It can also go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in under 5 seconds. Other features include an aluminum chassis, a wraparound windshield for an unobstructed view, and the side rear-view mirrors have been replaced with small rear-view cameras at the base of the A-pillar. From full-size SUVs to super-sized Big Macs, big is a way of life in America. It's practically in the Bill of Rights. And in keeping with this principle, Chrysler made a bold statement at the Chicago Auto Show, revealing a lineup of RT vehicles plus a new SRT8 version of the Charger. Now, it's Ram Truck's turn to make a splash. There's a torque war going on right now, and according to Wards, the company is responding to GM and Ford's challenge. Chrysler will offer a special version of its Cummins turbo diesel engine, and get this, it's got 800 pound-feet of torque. Horsepower remains the same at 350. This high-output straight six will only be available with a 6-speed automatic transmission. A lower output version with only 650 pound-feet will be offered with a manual. To handle the extra twist, the truck features a beefed-up rear end with a finned aluminum differential cover, amongst other changes. And you know, today the picture is looking pretty bright at Chrysler, but a couple of years ago, that was not the case. In fact, the future looked downright disastrous. So how did the people at the company deal with death on their doorstep? We'll be back with that in a moment.
Reducing exhaust emissions, aerified diesel particulate filters, high filtration, low back pressure, small package size, excellent durability. DowAerify.com.
The people at Chrysler went through some pretty tough times over the last decade. How'd they get through the bleak years and still keep their sanity? I put that question to 3 of the company's people on this week's Autoline. Joe Daner is the head of Ram and Dodge Design. Chris Barman is the vehicle line executive in charge of the E-platform. And Klaus Busse is the head of interior design for the group.
Joe, I'm sure you've seen ups and downs in the industry. What was your thoughts of, bankruptcy? I mean, it's different to have a bad year or go through a recession, but bankruptcy is totally different.
No, absolutely. That's a slippery slope that you definitely don't want to go down, but it happened. And as Chris pointed out, and Klaus would agree, we're kind of the insiders because we get to touch the future product every day. We live 2-3 years ahead of everybody else. So you knew what was coming. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's all about the product. And so we get to see and feel and touch that. And it is strictly just background noise at that point.
Yeah. And towards the end of 2008, they offered all the buyouts, right? Anyone working for us, any one of us could have walked away with a nice chunk of money and say there is no future for this company. But just because what Joe said, I think I'm proud to say I didn't lose a single person of my team because they were so passionate about what they were working on. And we knew we're going to succeed by seeing the product, the Grand Cherokee, the Durango, Charger, 300. Mm-hmm. All those products were done in the studios during those arguably dark days. Mm-hmm. But we were so focused on it. And at one point you learn not to listen to the news in the morning, don't read the emails or the news or the web blogs in the evening. Stay focused on the job. Here we are and we succeed.
You can watch that entire interview right now at our website, AutolineDetroit.tv. Before we go, I want to tell you about the latest program in our lineup. It's called Roundabout, and you might consider it Autoline's best kept secret because we've been producing episodes for more than a year now. Every week, Roundabout takes an offbeat look at the automotive world by covering the coolest, the weirdest, and the funniest car news around. Hosted by Autoline Daily's Craig Cole, he brings together a panel of automotive writers and bloggers reporting in from as far off as Florida, California, and even Germany. You can watch live as they record the show every Friday evening starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, or you can subscribe to the podcast. Check it out on the John's Journal section of our website, or get even more info at roundaboutshow.com. Tonight's episode will feature special guest Mike Levine of pickuptrucks.com. Join them for an entertaining and sometimes even informative start to your weekend. And that's today's report on the top news in the global automotive industry. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.